Hello and welcome back, Freedom Warriors, and we have to say Happy Valentine's Day to the world. This is peace, love, grooviness, all that kind of joyous stuff. Thank you for coming back and watching Essential Talks, where you stay for the conversation, you leave empowered, and this is our special Valentine's Day show.
Hey.
Yay! I love.
We have
Love
Cecile from Citrus Dance, and we're gonna get right into it and start talking about some kids. And I'll let I'm your host as well, Jamie Russo, and my two lovely hosts, Jessica and Kimberly. And I'm gonna let one of them take it off with Cecile here. This is great.
So just to get into it as well too, so we're all essential. We're doing a campaign right now for a share love with your smile. So really our kind of, I don't want to say our theme today, but really want to talk about unmasking, like unmasking people, unmasking kids especially too, and just the impact of mental health issues on children and how this has all impacted them, and that we need to release the faces. We need to see smiles. We want to see your smile, and so we'll get more into our actual our campaign later on. But Cecile here, she's got a lot of does a lot of dance classes with children and young adults, and some adult classes as well too. But basically wanting to talk to her about firstly her business, how things have been going. So we'll kind of get into that. So Cecile, how has business been for you in the past little while? What have you kind of dealt with in terms of pushback, bylaw, things like that? How's it gone for you?
It's actually been going really well. I've made it very clear from the beginning. Everybody knows how I feel with freedom of choice, basically with masks, vaccines, everything. It's just it's up to what they're comfortable with. So I know that we've been told to do such and such, and I think no, I'm going to do what I feel is right for humanity and children and our mental health, and it's actually been very good. The parents have responded quite well, positively. The children are so happy to have that choice. So I have to say everything's been quite positive. I've been lucky in that respect, and I feel that when I can respect you, you can respect me. So it's a two-way street, and it's worked well so far.
Good. Well, I'm very happy to hear that, and I'm happy to hear that that parents are realizing the necessity for this and are not they're responding respectfully. That's perfect.
Yeah. Definitely.
Kim, did you have any questions in particular as well?
Well, first, Cecile, welcome. And
Thank
as
you.
a fellow Orangevillian, I'm
Yes.
proud to have you in our community finally standing. And
Me
we
too.
know we've always felt this way, but it's amazing to feel empowered the more people that join us. So
Definitely.
I totally admire you for, using your voice and standing your ground.
Thank you.
It's so important. I mean, with the masks in general, I mean, I feel like it's such a psychological thing for all of us, not just children, right?
Mhm.
Like I have
Definitely.
clients coming in, and I almost have anxiety speaking to clients who are wearing a mask, and the moment they take it off, number one, their whole face changes. I'm so surprised how much this really affects someone's appearance and look, but it's also our way of really communicating non-verbally, right? So it obviously way more important with the children and everything like that. I know you had a one-on-one interview, but let's kind of get a little bit of your history. I know you had one with Jamie, but let's speak about your transition, and when did you just kind of know enough was enough? Like, when did you put your foot down and know that the GOV's intentions weren't great for us?
Well, it started last year. I kind of, I really wanted to. What was it? In April, we had the other lockdown, and at that point, my husband and I were just like, okay, this is getting ridiculous, and we at that point still didn't feel comfortable. We didn't know what to do. We didn't know how families would respond. So we did go onto Zoom. We didn't stay open, and then in the summertime, we both decided this is it. Like, if they try doing this again, we are not closing. Like, we just cannot do this. They don't they're not a small business. They don't understand what we're going through as small businesses. And so we both agreed, my husband and I, that if they tried doing this again, because we both had a feeling that, okay, we're going to start in September, and then Christmas time, that's again when they want to shut us down. And we both agreed, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to let families know right from the get-go that, just so you know, we are going to remain open if they try shutting us down again. And, just being honest with my families, just so that, they are comfortable with making that decision, whether they want to come into the studio or not. So then when that did happen, I did send my email out to the families and just basically said, you know what, for the mental health of our children, our community, we will not be shutting the doors. We will remain open. But for those families that are still not comfortable, we will respect that, no problem. And you can go on Zoom. Like, we're going to set up all of our classes on Zoom. But for those families that are comfortable coming into the studio, we're open. So we were very scared to send that out. But at the same time, we knew we had to do this because in our hearts, we're like, we need to follow what's right for us. And so, and for the children, like these poor children, like they've just gone through so much. It's so unhealthy. Their mental state is just, it's sad. It's really, really sad. So we sent it out and we had great responses coming back. And I just remember calling my husband and going, oh my gosh, you know what? I've had so many families emailing me back and just saying, thank you so much for doing this, for staying open, for, and then I had, just a couple basically question like, well, are you supposed to be? And I just said, if you're not comfortable, you don't have to come in. You respect me, I respect you. And that's just how it works. Like, so if we can go along that way in life, and that's a great way to go. So it worked out great. And kids were just happy, just really happy about that.
That's amazing.
That's fantastic.
That's so good. Have you noticed a difference in the last couple weeks with the convoy and more people kind of coming around out of their hesitancy or standing together in freedom?
Not really. Like, I'm very much a part of it and I'm so excited for it because this is like, finally, this is what we need. We need pushback. We need to not just sit down and take it all. So it was, but no, I haven't. Like, the children are just kind of like, just happy to be there, and we're trying to organize our spring show and recital and competition. So they're just excited about all of that. And so, but I know I am. Like, for me, it's been like, let's go. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, before I introduce Samantha, I'm going to wind up just saying one little comment. And I just want everyone to be aware that Ottawa is going into the third week of protest with no mask, no social distancing, no nothing. And the Ottawa hospital is not overwhelmed. That's crazy. Anyways, we got Samantha with us from High Vibrations. Yeah, how you doing, Samantha?
Hello, everyone. Sorry, I'm a few minutes behind. Hello.
And Samantha, just update anybody that might not be familiar with you. Just introduce yourself, your business, where you're located, and kind of what you do. We're focusing in on the children, especially on this Valentine's Day, that we're in right now. So
Absolutely. Hello, everyone. My name is Samantha Prasad, and I'm the owner, founder, and creator of High Vibrations Dance, Wellness, and Spiritual Center. We are a multi-dimensional center rooted and grounded in love, first and foremost. We offer dance classes for children, for adults. We also offer, spiritual mentorships, programs, services, circles, prayers, healing, you name it. I'm a healer as well, so I do really intense spiritual cleanses and healing. So that's just to blurb it all up of what I do and what my business is all about. I also took a stand against all of these mandates and all of this draconial measures and just the tyranny. I've just been standing. So that's just a little bit about me to sum it up. I've been, the government came after me of Ontario, public health, like you name it. It's just been such a fight, but I never gave up. And here we are standing today, still fighting for the children. Never closed my doors on them, never separated them, never did any of that. So the children are a big, big deal within high vibrations, and with my own children in the world. I'm standing for everybody. Definitely a freedom fighter for freedom for our children, first and foremost.
That was well said. I really like that. That was very well said. So we've said before, we've had both of you on previously with one-on-ones, and Samantha, we've also had you on before as well too, just talking about your business. But what I wanted to know is, since we're focusing on the mental health and kind of and how much that means to children through this, and the being able to express themselves, being able to show their faces and stuff, what have you found the differences from before, if you were open before the pandemic, versus the beginning of it kind of last year and then to now, the differences in behavior and how children are kind of taking things at this point in time, and how things have gone with them? So we'll start with Cecile.
So I think children are just adjusting back to, well, especially at my studio, same thing. They don't have to wear their masks. So it's sad when it's so weird for them to see our faces, right? And when they come in and they're smiling and they're happy, it's just, okay. So it's nice. It's nice to see that, but some of them are also refrained. So it's you have some that are just like gung ho, let me come in here, let me be free, let me dance, I feel great. And some are just kind of a little hesitant. So, and then learning how to socialize with the other kids again, because some of these little ones, they've never been around so many other kids, right? So it's an adjustment for some of these little ones, but they're so happy. They're so happy. They come in and they're just like, oh my goodness, like there's little kids around me. This is wonderful. And it's so nice to see that. Same with the parents. Like they're just so relieved to have activities again for the children. And when we stayed open this time, they were just like, thank you, thank you, thank you. Because it's just like, these kids can be kids. And even the teenagers, like for their mental state, it's just they appreciate and they understand how great it is to be together, whereas before they'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired, I've got this to do, I've got that to do. And if they were in so many classes, you can see that they're tired, but now they come and they're just excited to be there, like all the time. So it's nice because that's their release in life, that's their time to have joy again, and be around other kids and communicate and talk to each other. And yeah, so the difference, I kind of got lost with my wording where I was going, but
You're doing fine.
Yeah. So I don't know. I feel like these kids, it just breaks my heart, because on the computer, when we were doing Zoom, there was such a disconnect, and it's like, it's just sad. It's hard, because you're on one side and they're on the other side, and you want to keep engaging with them and laughing and communicating and talking, not just dance, because you want to, mentally just talk with them to feel good, human to human. And so when we are able to be together and we stayed open this time, you just see that they're just like, oh, thank you. Like, it's just, they really appreciate it so much more. And it's great. So that connection, that human connection, not even just dancing, but just being together, it's so important. And they, I think, really now value that more because of that being taken away from them. So when they have it again, it's just like, like, this is great. This is what we need. And they appreciate it so much more. So that's nice to see the difference.
Interesting. Okay. That's a good take on it. I'm glad that they're relieved, and it's interesting seeing that, especially the younger ones, their lack of social experience. And I really do wonder how that's going to kind of show itself over the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. But hopefully they'll be able to kind of repair and fill in the gaps that this has kind of left. So same question, Samantha. How have you found the children's kind of behavior, mannerisms, I don't want to say like viewpoints towards all this, but things like that from pre-pandemic, first year or two, and then this past like winter, this past while? Have you found the differences?
Yeah. So first and foremost, pre-pandemic was definitely they were normal kids. My two daughters have always been competitive dancers. I'm a dancer trained from California. That's where I grew up. So traveling, competing, doing all of that, teaching, and seeing the students was normal. But I just barely opened my business. Barely 6, 7 months into this pandemic. So standing here right now is actually a blessing from God. I have to always give him that credit. So I didn't have my feet in the door. It's not like I had a studio open for many, many years. But what I do know is obviously they were normal. They were happy. It was regular routine to come and dance. I started building my classes. As I mentioned, I'm not from here. So all the kids had to get to know me as when I opened the studio. I'm predominantly adults. So I do have children's classes, but not as much as maybe Cecile would have. So it's mainly adults, but I do have about 3 to 4 classes right now at the moment for kids. Anyway, so what I found was when this happened, to be really honest with you, my studio's never changed. I stood from day one against this and I never changed. So I that's why public health went hard on me, because I never separated them. I never put boxes on the floor. I never put masks on them. I'm very strong in my conviction. So any of the parents who brought their children to me stood with me with that. So it wasn't, my take is very different because I stayed the same pre-pandemic to today. So they felt completely normal. They came in, I never did Zooms. Again, I'm just coming, there's no ego attached to me right now. I'm just coming from a space of love and honesty, is that I never changed. I will never change because the government tells me to change. So I held strong by the grace of God for these children. And I showed them to stand in their sovereignty, that they're doing nothing wrong to come in here to hug, to love, to dance, to share this space and this connection and this very vital part of their growth with others, with other children and with me and with other teachers and assistants. So we kept it very normal for them from the start. All these children are very special to my soul. I'm a firm believer that they choose their whole life path. So they definitely chose me to come to my studio because they're all warriors. They're all little warriors, man. So they know exactly what's happening, but they're standing up in their own way. And I know this is a different take on maybe the answers you guys were expecting, but they know. My daughter dances with me, both my older daughter and my younger one, and they know we're against all of this. So they know, like, there may be a potential knock on the door. People might be coming, but I will fight till the day I die for them. And I will let the police take me away. I will do whatever I need to do because this is what is right. And I'm doing nothing wrong by staying firm for their freedoms. So it's a beautiful thing. Nothing has changed. They come in, their parents drop them, they run in, they hug, they laugh, everything. They're allowed to be right next to each other, everything. So nothing's changed, to be really just blunt and honest. And so it's a beautiful thing to see them. And I know that High Vibrations is a space that they just feel yes, this is home. They don't even want to leave when their parents come because they're having so much fun and they're like just normal. So like I said, it's never changed. But, in regards to the pandemic and all of this that's going on, it is going to affect our kids. It is affecting them now. But if we just show them, the main thing is just showing them that stand in your sovereignty and that you lead by example. So when you lead by example, the children that you have and stuff will definitely, it'll ooze out of you. And they're little warriors, man. They're warriors. They know that this is wrong. They're against it. And yeah, it's just a safe space of just being true to yourself and being sovereign souls of God. It's really essentially what it is. So
That's beautiful. That's that's so nice. That's so nice to hear. And I love your empowerment. I'm just like, I'm getting jazzed just sitting here. I'm just like,
yeah. You know what? Because the thing is, it's very important when you work with children to allow them to express themselves. But, the fact that I'm very vocal with them, that they will never, like, this is wrong. They know it's wrong and their parents are okay with that. Obviously they support me. So I think it's like every business is a little different because these parents know I'm a warrior and I stood up and they know my stand. So essentially they're going to have to be like-minded. You see what I mean? So I don't have that problem with the parent wanting a mask or wanting all that because I won't allow it, period. I'm very strong against it. You're not allowed to. So I know, again, this podcast is probably getting, but I just have to stay true to myself and be honest. So I'm not for it. So parents know. So I find God conspires with the universe to bring these parents in that want that for their children. So I haven't had any problems with that. And so the kids are just normal, man. They're just normal. And it's so beautiful because I do a lot of work with them. I do a lot of prayer circles, sound healing. I do a lot more than just dance. So I'm really trying to heal them in other ways so they can grow with this and then spread it out to more children. And so it could just be a rippled effect for the world. That's what I'm trying to do. I mean, I'm planting a little seed, but it's going to be a big tree, because these children are going to go and they're going to share that with more kids. And that's what's important, is to hold a safe space for them to keep sane and to be safe, right?
Yes, so in regards to the actual like the behavior with the kids themselves. So Cecile, since you deal more so with the children, just a quick question. So within the different age groups that you've seen, because they have to wear masks like almost all the time when they're at school, and that's a lot of where a lot of kids get their socialization with other kids. Have you noticed any changes in their behavior? From before, when they would just like normally see all the kids without masks and masks weren't really even a thing, to now when they see other kids with no masks on a regular basis in an environment that's safe and they can do that kind of thing. Have you noticed any changes in their behavior, like on a social level with each other? If that makes sense.
I think for those kids that still want to wear a mask, do you mean with the ones that aren't wearing one and then the ones that are coming?
What's the ratio for the classes that you have? So how many are wearing them? How many are not?
It's funny because it varies week to week. Like some kids, like more kids just won't wear a mask and most won't. And just, a quarter will. And then 1 week, I think it depends on too what they're like. When Omicron was like, oh, it's like so bad, and some would have it, and then the week after they'd be fine, and so they wouldn't wear their mask home. So I'm like, whatever's good for you. But like at that point, it's so restricting, right? Like, so kids have to understand that you're still being seen, like you're still there. Don't think that that mask. And I said this to my daughter the other day, because like I go out and I don't wear a mask, and they still want to. And I said, you don't have to wear that. You can take that off. But it's sad when they say, well, no, people are going to look at me if they're not wearing a mask. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, like that's sad that's not normal, right? But I'm just like, no, you're still a human being. You need to be smiling and looking at other people and talking and communicating. So I just find the ones that are not wearing their masks are just, what's the word? I guess more communicative, like talking a little bit more, and yeah, I don't know.
They don't feel like it's a safety shield to hide behind, basically.
Yeah,
or that they don't need that kind of ness. And not to say that the ones that do wear them need that, but there's a feeling of like an ostrich hiding its head, right? Like it thinks it's safe.
I think so. But it was cute. One of our students, her mom says to me, she goes, every time we come to Citrus and she's walking in, she's like, I just love coming here. And she goes, why? And she goes, because I don't have to wear my mask, and I'm just like, that just melts my heart, because she can feel normal, she can feel like she doesn't have to put that on. You have the choice. Don't. Don't if you don't want to. And she's young, she's 7, and she's just like, she's liberated, it's so sweet. And it's like, that's how it should be. But, again, yeah, it's whatever their environment is at home too, like they have to do what's that the parents, whatever is good for them. And then, it's just, for me, it's your choice, like do what you're comfortable with. So
interesting. Okay. And so same thing. So Samantha, I know that you're saying that you have a lot of adults, but you do have some children. So on the grounds of both, really, I mean, like with the adults, like I guess they have to wear them sometimes for work and stuff like that. But I find that adults are a little bit more vocal, or I don't want to say this, like once they're against something, they're kind of like, I'm done. But kids are a little bit more willing to go along with things. They don't have it all figured out yet. And so, but have you noticed any kind of like change in the social aspect of how people behave now when they have this safe space to be without these face coverings altogether, in close proximity to each other?
Yeah. Honestly, nothing has changed. So I think that,
That's awesome. Good.
yeah, it's everything that high vibration stands for. So there is freedom of choice, and I definitely, I agree with people who whatever they want to do. But I think that the way that God has founded my business has been to stay firm with just against this, just fight against it. So, like I said, it's just I don't see nobody wears it, and everyone in my adult, they're very much like me in a way of like freedom fighters and stand their ground. So everybody is just we're all living in our true sovereignty. So it's a different type of dynamic. But honestly, it's just so heartbreaking. I couldn't see it. So I had a talk with God in prayer, and I'm like, I can't, there's just no way that I could. It's not that I won't accept people for what they want to do or the parents, but I mean, there are a few kids I have in my dance class that their parents, make them wear the mask to school. So when they come to me, I think to do any kind of difference, they feel free. I hear them going like, "Oh, I didn't have to. I feel so good because I wear it at school." I think that's the only comment I've ever heard, because obviously I respect their parents' choices. Like I am not here to say, "Oh, don't give it to them." I fight against all of it because I'm just a freedom fighter. I'm a warrior of God. But it's just I allow people freedom of choice. I believe in that. But that's probably the only heartbreaking thing I've ever heard was them talking amongst themselves before we do across the floor, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I don't have to wear my mask, it feels so good, and at school I take it off at lunch," and something about personal conversations I've heard. But other than that, there's really no mask talking at all. Yeah, just leading by example, leading by example. I've never worn one, my kids never worn one, none of my, so we just run the business this way so that people have that ultimate freedom of life. It's our life. It's our God-given sovereignty, our life. So holding strong in that in all I do, every single class, every single service is important to me. So I'm sorry if I'm not answering the questions, but
No,
I'm answering the best that I can.
That's the answer, and that's all I want to hear. I'm just like, I just want things to go back to normal. I just want normalcy. I just want to see people's faces. I don't want to always be like, what do you look like underneath that?
But
Like,
the
let me
biggest
see
thing
the
is,
other 2/3 of your face. Like,
yeah,
it's
the
just
biggest
freaking weird.
the biggest thing to comment on that is it starts within us, right? Like, and
Yeah.
again, this is all a space of love. It starts with us. So if what we want to see, we have to be. We have to be what we want to see in the world. So we have to lead by example, and that's uncomfortable. But we have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. So if that means walking in a store and you have anxiety and knots in your stomach and you don't have your mask on, but you're ready to stand in your truth and you know it's wrong, then you do that, right? So that's where it is. Like we have to lead by example. We have to stand in our truths, and it's not going to go away. And this is the biggest thing from a warrior. I'm like, boots are on the ground every single week, every single other. I was in Ottawa made history that whole weekend. And, it's boots on the ground. We got to do, right? Like I've always been a doer, but, we have to do. It's not going to go away. We're not going to see smiles unless we take off the mask. We're not going to get life back unless we fight for it. This is the stage that we're in, unfortunately. But it's a good fight. It's a good side of history to be on, and it's definitely worth it. Losing blood on the way to salvation, I will do that forever. This is what we need to do. Everybody needs to stand strong in that in order to break this. And that's my biggest message to anybody watching is, whatever we do in our businesses, it's like we play a role here to stand for the people, all nations, all races, children, unity, love. And it starts with us. It's unfortunate when people think that I just want this to be normal, I want it to get back. It's not going to until we stand. And that's just the facts, right? So in Ottawa, we were standing against all the mandates, and they still are there, but it was an energy like no other, so we need to do it for the children, and I do it for the kids. Like all the trucks had so much stuff about the kids. I posted a lot of footage. We got to do it because they're our future. The children are our future. And it's been too many, generation after generations of this dark demonic, agendas. And we need to be able to break that. And we, the people, have to break that. See, so we have to get uncomfortable and we have to do these things. And if we play a role with helping children right now, then we got to stand strong. I'm talking about the teachers. I'm talking about dance teachers, regular teachers, anybody that's dealing with children, these facilities. It's heartbreaking to me, you know, that I was 1 in 3, not even of kids. I was the only one that offered kids. It was Adamson's Barbecue, myself, and Pastor Hildebrand, a church that went all the way to fight for them. We got to fight for them. You got to be willing to lose it all for them, right? So when you really care about children, you will do whatever you can. And it's just a message for everybody to just keep rising, keep standing, and be okay. Be comfortable with being uncomfortable, because it's not comfortable. I'll tell you that. It's not comfortable, but it's worth it for the children when you look in their faces.
Yeah.
So I have a couple more questions for you about Ottawa, but before we do that, Kim, Jamie, did you have any questions in particular about anything? I just, before I ramble on with a few more of my questions here. So
I wanted to state the importance and duty of all businesses to offer the no mask wearing and stuff like that. It starts with places like that, because in schools, unless parents are pulling their kids out, they are wearing them in school, unfortunately, or most of them are. You know, I know somebody who dropped their kid off in Edmonton today, all mandates lifted for mask wearing, and 80 to 90% of the kids were still wearing them, right? So I do know it's become a mental psychosis, even with parents. It's no longer, I'm just doing what I'm told. The government's no longer telling them that, and some children are still wearing masks. So God bless you, Cecile and Samantha, for offering an environment where they can feel normal and breathe normal. They literally need it for the science of breathing and the carbon dioxide exchange. None of us should be wearing masks. So I do just want to state the importance, I feel, of all business owners watching right now, of taking a stand and doing what's right. Cecile, I know you're going to Ottawa next weekend. Samantha, let's dive deep into your experience there. I know you probably have felt so many emotions, but also speak on the camaraderie of joining up with your fellow truth seekers and freedom fighters.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, Ottawa was beautiful. I knew that I was called to be there the very first weekend. It was just through my entire body. I needed to be there. And I think because since 2020, I've been boots on the ground. I've been doing so much, you know, in Toronto and all around the GTA and Barrie. So it felt so good that finally, like this big movement, right, with the truckers, which we always have to think about and think everything through and see everything as it is. But this was like we've set precedent around the world, right? Like it's massive. But being down there was definitely, it's not what the media, of course, will ever portray. It was all love. You know, me personally being very spiritual and connected to God, as I'm walking down, marching, everywhere is Bible verses on the trucks and big signs for our children. And it was just such a profound energy within my body. And I drove straight there and I wasn't even tired. I was like, let's go. It was like minus 100 to me, this Cali girl. And I'm like, it's okay. I'm bundled up. And it was an energy. I basically, if I could put it into words, it was like if I was all empty, it's like I went to God's gas station and he filled me up there. It was like, I'm on full, I'm over full, because it was finally that moment of like recharge. Because I'm always out there in Toronto. We're doing all these things and we're going to clinics. We're doing so much. So it was like, it felt so good that more people are waking up. And this is a big, massive, you know, we're setting so much precedent around the world. Everybody's like, they're looking at us, and it's just, we started it. So it's such a good feeling. But honestly, you know, as we know, with Trudeau and all this stuff going on, it's still going to be a fight, right? We still got to stand there. So that's why it's important for more people to keep going and supporting the truckers, because they are really like locked down the roads. They're there. I spoke to many truckers. One was there with his son, who was 13. They're like, we're not leaving, and how the town was giving them money and e-transferring. Like, it was just, it's beautiful and it's sad at the same time, because they're leaving their family, their wives, their loved ones, their other children, and they're there for us. And this is big. This is big. So we need to all be there and go, and whoever's called to it. But this is like, we all have to play a collective role in this. But yeah, honestly, the energy was wild, and beautifully wild, just so blissful, so powerful. And,
is there anything specific that you saw that affected you, like profoundly, good or bad? I'm just curious.
Honestly, it was very peaceful. It was nothing that I've not seen. You know, obviously with the trucks, it was amazing. It's something new, obviously, but I think it's just like the unity of all the people. I've been used to that for 2 years now, going into the third year, and it was just nice to just it's family. It's, you know, God's army, God's warriors, and it was very a spiritual moment of downloads that I got for sure. And I got a lot of, you know, insights and visions, and it was a calm, beautiful, peaceful feeling. I didn't have anything negative. I didn't feel anything airy. The only thing I felt airy was around the parking meters. And this is just deep and spiritual, but basically, Ottawa, the name or logo, whatever you want to say for Ottawa, it's an O. And when you look at it, it has these three little signs going across, and 666, which is the devil. Now, this is going to go deep, but it'll be really quick. So basically, any one of God's warriors is going to notice this, because they were wrapping it around the parking meters everywhere. Then they had these signs. And I was there in March doing an event with Empowering the Children for children last March. We were on there, no mask, no nothing. I was teaching dance out there on Parliament Hill. So I didn't see that last March, right? It wasn't there. So it's like, it's almost like they went around and taped it all around. It was pretty crazy, to be honest. That was the only kind of airy, weird sort of thing. It was like they're taping it all around. It's symbolism. We could go deeper, but we won't. So basically, like, all the symbolism definitely was there and around, but it's just casting it out, because God gives us the power to. So it was just, you could feel the energy that Trudeau had, definitely hiring people and people doing those things. And he definitely was trying to break it down and trying to cast some stuff out there. But other than that, once you're just standing strong, it was love. It was so much love. It was beautiful. I miss it. It's because I got to run the business, because I'm like, I would stay. I want to stay. But it was like, I got to get home to my kids, and I got to, you know, just keep going. But I'm definitely going to be going back.
That's awesome. Yeah, I actually just as we were talking, I looked up the logo, because I was like, "What is this?"
Did you see the logo?
And so yeah, that is creepy. It's like
come on, for
that's
Ottawa,
questionable.
it should just be an O, but it's like the 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, it's got those little like loopies around. It's just like, oh my god, the symbolism. Like, it's just like, you know, can they not make a logo that has questionable, weird things in it? Like,
and that's the thing, for being the capital, right? For being, you know, like the Washington, you know, White House type vibe, and like, you know, of the states, and to have that there, it's like, you don't need that around an O. You know, it's just, it's very much blatant in your face. And
just like,
and they do that because they know right now it's a mass hypnosis psychosis on the planet. So they know that when they're doing that, so many people that don't click in, it's like they're taking part in it right now. So they like to do that because they've been doing this for years, guys, since we were young, since, like, this isn't new. It's just that we have now woken up to that. We removed the layers of separation, indoctrination. We removed these layers, so we're connected more with the metaphysical, and we're learning that more people are waking up to the symbolism and seeing it right in their face. It's pretty scary. That was the only kind of like weird thing I saw, was it all over the parking meters. They had put new signs everywhere that I never saw last March. And there were signs in the ground with a big O for Ottawa. I'm like, really? We know we're in Ottawa. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't need to literally have it at every other like little section. Like, it was kind of creepy.
Yeah. It's more programming, right? Conditioning, and there's so many rabbit holes to go down. Disney, for one, if you catch all the symbols in Disney, but that's a whole other episode. But yeah, they're definitely not hiding anything from us. So we're becoming awakened to it.
Yeah, the time is definitely now for the kids. And that's the main purpose of bringing all this up, is the kids are being affected, because when we're not rising for them, all of this is going. Essentially, it's there. It's the generation of children that is being affected the most. So the time is now. The time has been now to rise, to rise, to rise. That's the energy. Rise, rise, rise. So that way we can help them and be willing to die for them. I'm willing to die. Yeah, I have 2 children. I will die for them any day. But I'm willing to die for all the children in the world. I'm willing to do that. How many people are willing to do that? And if you really, really think about it, not a lot of people will. So you've got to just be willing to risk it all. That's the only way we're going to get out of this, is to keep standing. So if you're watching, just stand in your own way and do something. Get your boots on, strap them up, and get going. Because staying behind a screen is not going to help anybody. Trust me. It's not going to get the children out of this. You need to do. Use your businesses, use your platforms, use your boots on the ground and go. That
Yeah,
is
like
the most important thing.
what Steph is saying in the chat, though, whatever it takes. Jamie, did you have anything that you want to jump in on, comments wise,
Yeah.
or questions?
Sure. I've been a little bit quieter this episode, only because most of the topics would have me driving real deep on them, and yeah, we would be getting into all kinds of things, and I have a lot of research that I've done about a lot of events that are actually taking place. So like today, basically our government declared war on the people by, putting the Emergency Act in effect. So anyone out there that's sleeping, just realize that your government has literally declared war on its own people. So please start to wake up. And as Samantha was saying earlier, when you're out and about, realize all of the little eyes that are on you. So how do you want those little ones to look at you in as a role model, somebody to look up to, somebody to follow, or in disappointment? You have so many little eyes on you, it's unbelievable. Everywhere I go, I'm without a mask, and I'm talking freely about topics that everybody, I believe, should be talking about. And one of the topics we're not talking about enough is the children, because what is actually happening across our planet is disgusting when it comes down to the children. And they need us to be their voice, because they can't say it themselves. So it's our duty and obligation to look out for our offspring all across the planet, whether they're yours or our brothers and sisters across this planet. We all have to lock arms and protect our little ones.
Yeah, that was well said.
Yes, absolutely, Jamie. That was beautiful. Yeah, we have to. Time is now. Time has been now. And we need to rise, rise, rise. That's the energy. After the war, like we said, they declared war on us. I'm not surprised. They wanted, the convoy did this, and they're going to stir it up, and they want to have an excuse to do this. And, we have to strap up. We have to suit up. We had to know that this is not going to be roses, dandelions, and flowers. We knew that we are now rising to such a powerful level as humanity is rising. They're going to keep pushing. They're going to keep throwing things at us. This is just the way it is. But staying rooted and grounded in the fact that you're doing it for the children, you're doing it for the generations, you're doing it for freedom, and you are doing it to save this planet, then that should be your fuel. That should be, we won't have our businesses if we're sitting around and closing our eyes and plugging our ears and not taking part. You're not going to have your business. This is my biggest thing to these small business owners. They're like myself, but obviously I stand. It's like, open your doors, stay open, help and do what you can. You have a pivotal role to play. Let's go. You can get loud. You can make noise. You can use your business, to save children. Why not do it? They took me all the way to the courts and tried to crucify me to the crosses. And I did it. I didn't even know how I was going to make my overhead for that month. But I did it, because it's not about money. It's not about business. It's about, what about the freedom of our children to be able to pull up here and come in and dance, or pull up to wherever they're going to, and just live life freely. So this is why, and Jamie, you made a good point that nobody is addressing the children as much as it should be. There's a lot of platforms that I follow, and freedom fighters and fellow warriors. So God bless you guys. Thank you. You know who you are, and thank God for them. I'm in a big community of warriors, and there's lots of people doing work, but it's like more of the people who can use their businesses as that foundation is what's needed right now, because we won't have it, right? Like, what are we going to do? We're staying open for money, but it's like, what are we going to do when everything's stripped away? We're now in a state of emergency, and all of this stuff is happening. It's just going to be the same thing, right? Like, the cycle's continuing and history repeating if we don't crack it. So grab those sledgehammers, baby. Grab those sledgehammers, and let's start chipping away. And
I agree. Totally, 100%. I think more businesses with dealing with children need to stand
it's
up.
Too quiet.
It's actually quite frustrating, because I'm part of different groups with dance studios and stuff, And they're constantly going into the group and asking these questions like, oh, can we do this now? And can we do that? Now I'm like, can you stop asking this? Do what is right. Like you have to stop asking the government if we can do everything. No, it's about time now where you can see as clear as day what is right and act on that. Like you need to have some guts to be, like you said, like you have to be powerful, you have to be strong. And like I said, I was finally just at that point where I'm like, I'm done. Like I am done being
God bless you.
And I'm just like, I can't do this anymore for these children. And I just want more kids studios to do the same. It just drives me crazy when I'm just like, can you please do what's right for these children? Stop asking, can we do this, and this? Like enough.
Yeah.
Just get strong as an individual. Like if we, as business owners, we have to be strong. We have to, and then from there, as with the children, especially these children, they need to see like, this strength and this standing up and question things and like, this isn't right. So maybe I shouldn't be doing that anymore. Stop. If it doesn't feel right, listen to your heart. Like, we're humans. We need to start listening to our hearts more and stop being so afraid. I was afraid. And then I was like, I'm not afraid anymore. I'm done. Take me to jail if you need to take me to jail, but I got to do what's right within me, and
there's so many leaders that children look up to, not just their parents in life. And so it's just like, did you start a business to allow the government to tell you exactly what to do, when to do it? Like, why didn't you just have a franchise at that point? Like, why didn't you, if you've opened your doors to be able to make decisions and do what's right for you and your family, why would you all of a sudden look to the government, which is just made up of people who clearly don't know what the hell they're doing? To tell you what to do. And especially at this point when they've been proven so wrong so often on so many levels without consideration for any impacts it's going to have on, like, so this is all about health, but it's just like, I was looking at stats before we started this just so that I had a little bit of some statistics in my arsenal here, but like, the number of suicides and self-injury cases in the first 3 quarters of 2021 was 47% higher in 5 to 8-year-olds and 182% higher in 9 to 12-year-olds than the same period in 2016. It's like 182% higher. Like that's a completely unacceptable. It's completely unacceptable, and no one talks about this. No one's saying anything. No. And so it's just at this point, any business that is dealing with kids, that you're underestimating how much of a role model you are into these children's lives and the difference that you can make, not even just to children, to young adults, to other people who are then going to then pass that around to people around them. Like the ripple effect of this is completely understated. And so just don't underestimate yourself, and remember why you got into business. It wasn't to listen to someone else make decisions for you. And I understand the feeling of the trepidation of, well, can I do this, all this stuff, but it's like, do it. There's so many people around you. They're just like, just do it. Like, just do it. Like, there's no point in having any more fear. Like, how much more do you want to base yourself into fear? Like, it's just, you've been coded so deeply now. Like, when are you going to shake it off? It's just at this point, how is that working for you? Like, how is it making you feel on a regular basis? Like, the empowerment feeling of just shrugging it off is so much greater than just continuing to let other adults try to adult for you when this is not what clearly this is not in anyone's best interest anymore. Yeah. And so, so on that note, I think that we'll probably like wrap it up from here, just not to get it to be too long of a thing. But this has been a fantastic conversation. The both of you are just so strong, and I really appreciate everything that you're doing right now for having a space for people to feel normal, and for allowing kids, but also adults to just to be them, and to try to just let's get the fuck over this. Let's get over this and get back to normal. And so so thank you, Cecile, for going to Ottawa and having some representation for the greater good in all of us. And then also for Samantha, and then Cecile, for you going this weekend to Ottawa. Thank you. We're trying to make it up as well too, so we'll figure that out. And so was there anything else, Jamie, Kim, that you wanted to add as well too?
I wanted to say, I think people are forgetting two of the most simplest things, and that's the government works for us first and foremost, and also that this is a 99% survival rate, right? So we've been brainwashed, conditioned, mind controlled for so many years that if we just simplify it to realize these two things, that can make a huge difference. And I do want to say, let's continue our We Are All Essential latest campaign of share love with your smile. You can use the hashtag share love with your smile, hashtag smiles are essential, hashtag share your smile. And we want to see pictures or videos of you out in public not wearing your freaking mask. Let's throw it away. And it just isn't for today, Valentine's. It's not for this week. Let's make this huge and continue it for sure. And I'll leave the final words with Jamie.
Okay, yeah. We've had a few initiatives going on, which is incredible. The whole Ottawa thing going on. We did touch base about the Emergency Act being sprung on us. Do any of you two ladies, Samantha or Cecilia, have anything you'd like to add to what you think of the Emergency Act and that? Give us your thoughts. We'll start with Samantha.
If they just about the act putting us into war right now.
Yeah. Just give us your thought, your opinion, how you're feeling.
Yeah. So I know you guys want to go, and I'm a talker, but to sum it up, I'm just kidding. I got to teach you. I'm joking. I have to go open the studio. Honestly, guys, I'm going to make it really simple. Right now, this is showing everybody is that this is a never-ending agenda from the government. If you are still asleep, wake the hell up, because I'm telling you, it's only going to get worse and worse and worse when you still continue to comply. My biggest thing about this Emergency Act is the time is now to take off your mask, to start saying no, and to realize that we, the people, are way stronger than the government, and that we are sovereign. And we are the definition of sovereign is a self-governed being. Whether you believe in God or not, you are a sovereign soul. So this is the missing link of the entire universe and planet, is people don't realize their sovereignty, so then they listen to other people in power, which is the government, so-called. So remember your sovereignty, tap into your sovereignty, bring your whole being into your sovereignty. That way you know you're self-governed and you don't listen to this, and you don't deal with the corruption, and you don't go along with this and be coerced and manipulated and fooled and tricked. So that's my biggest thing, is if you need to see it and step up now, because now being put in this, they're going to try martial law, they're going to try everything, and it's going to get really ugly. So the time is now that we, the people, are more stronger than them. And it's clearly showing you, really quick before I finish, it's clearly showing you, them putting us in this emergency, it's showing you that they know we, the people, are strong. I'm actually going to be speaking and going live on my platform soon about this. Is literally, they know how strong we are. They know who we are. They know we're light workers. They know we carry love and light within our souls, and they don't like that. So keep carrying it anyway. They know that you're strong and we won't buckle. Then it's keep being strong anyways, and continue to rise, because that's when they put the pressure on that way, it's because we're pushing back and we're holding the line and we're staying strong. So honestly, that's what I have to say, because I can go on all night. God bless each and every one of you. Cecile, nice to meet you. All three of you, you guys know I got mad love for you. And at the same time of us feeling this energy and standing strong, remember to fill yourself with love. Remember to still be happy. That's why I continue running the business, sharing love, giving people a safe space, because people are really low right now. So continue to keep that vibrating high, but then you're like ready to war too, right? You got to be both levels simultaneously. So God bless you all. Thank you for having me. And that's my little input for now.
Awesome.
I
That's
have
awesome.
to agree. I have to agree.
You're so
100%.
high energy. I freaking love it. Oh my God. So Cecile, so any last comments about what your feelings are on the whole Emergency Act and what are your thoughts right now?
Well, I agree 100%. I think that they're getting afraid because the people are standing up. And that, I mean, like my brother-in-law was there this past weekend with his family. And the love he said was just amazing. Like he said he was holding back tears because he's like, Cecile, it was amazing. Like the feeling, the unity, like the love, it wasn't hatred, it wasn't violence, it wasn't negative at all. And he said it was just like that whole vibe. And you know what, they're getting scared. The government is just kind of like, okay, what can we do now? And of course, like Samantha was saying, like they're going to get ugly, and we got to stand up higher and better than them. And with both love and pushback, like we do have to be warriors and stand up with strength, with love, with all of that, and we will win. We will. Like, I know we will. My heart tells me that we will, but we got to keep doing it, obviously, and that's just it. We will win. It takes time.
Oh, you both give me goosebumps.
I completely agree. So I was in Ottawa on the first weekend. I was there this past weekend. I can concur that the energy is incredible. You're walking past people that are crying, not out of sorrow. They're just so overwhelmed with the love state that's there. Hugs, high fives, all kinds of conversations. Everyone's taking care of everyone. Free hot chocolate, free food. Everyone's making sure you're doing awesome. I had my hands out of my gloves and I was blowing on them because they were so cold. Some woman just came up to me and gave me and my girlfriend both hot paws. Here you guys go. To keep your hands warm. Like, and if you're like, anything, if you look like you're hungry, somebody's passing you food. So what they're portraying in the media is absolute bullshit. And I also was able to meet with clan mothers. So that was an incredible experience. So, I mean, there's a lot that's happening in Ottawa. It's a lot different than what's being portrayed. So now I just want to kind of talk to the business owners, those that are ready to stand, those that are thinking about standing. You got to come join us at We Are All Essential. That's weareallessential.ca. You can register your business. You don't have to go public right away. Don't open your doors right away. Learn what your rights are. There's a couple of different methods you can stand in. So with We Are Essential, we're trying to educate you. We have Zoom meetings for businesses every week. We also have a Telegram group that you can join into, an SOS group. So when you are opening, if any situation arises, you have like-minded people that are going to be interacting with you to empower you, to help you go through it. It's an individual fight we all have to go through, because winning this war starts with you, like Samantha was saying. You have to change. You have to stand up. You have to fight. And in order for us to get to the other side, we all have to do it on our own. But it's great to have a support system, other like-minded business owners that you can talk to. Also, if you want to do more in your community and you're looking for something to do to actually be more active, you can join as a volunteer as well. So come on and join us. Also, like this video, subscribe to this video, and share this video. Let's get us out there. Let's get more people involved. We are just trying to spread the love and trying to get us to grow individually and as an entire race, mankind as a whole. We are sovereign beings. We need each other more than ever, and we need to come together. So on that note, happy Valentine's Day. Let's see your smiles.
Thanks for being here, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, you guys.
Thank you.